The warehouse smelled like rust and broken promises. Nia Okori stood in the center of the concrete floor. Fluorescent lights buzzed overhead like angry insects. 4 men circled her. Their shadows stretched long and hungry across the oil-stained ground. The air tasted metallic. Blood. Dust. The sharp tang of male overconfidence. She reached for her left hand, twisted the platinum wedding band once, twice, slipped it off with the care of someone removing armor they no longer needed. The ring disappeared into her jacket pocket. Safe, protected. Unlike the men in front of her, the first one moved, broad-shouldered, cocky, telegraphing his punch like he was mailing a letter. Naya's body remembered before her mind caught up. She slipped left, felt the air displacement as his fist passed her cheek, drove her right hand upward in a tight arc. The crunch of cartilage was louder than she expected. He staggered back, hands flying to his face, blood pouring between his fingers. His scream, high-pitched, surprised, like he hadn't actually believed she would hurt him. Men never did. Naya rolled her shoulders, shook out her hands, breathing even, 4 counts in, 4 counts out. Her trainer's voice 15 years ago whispered through her muscle memory. Control the breath. Control the fight. Control the fight. Control your life. The crowd pressed against the walls, erupted in noise. Some cheered, most jeered. A woman's voice cut through the chaos. She got lucky. Naya almost laughed. Luck was for people who had choices. The second man stepped forward, lighter on his feet, eyes calculating. He'd learned something from watching his friend bleed. Made him more dangerous. Not dangerous enough, Ive. This wasn't the first time someone mistook her silence for weakness, her smile for surrender, her choice to be gentle for an inability to be brutal. They always learned, always too late. He feinted left, drove forward with a straight right, fast, trained. Naya's world narrowed, breathing, angles, distance, timing. She could already see how this ended, how they all ended. She had to let it unfold. Let them think they had a chance. Hope made the lesson stick better. He rushed forward, Nya's lips curved upward. Not a smile of joy, a smile of recognition. Here we go again. 6 weeks earlier, morning light through the gym windows was the softest thing about Na's life and soul. She adjusted the focus mitts on her hands, angling them for her student, a nervous office worker named Sujin. 3 weeks in, Sujin's jab had gone from hesitant to purposeful. Breathe first, Nia said. Korean accent, clear. Power comes from your center, not your anger. Sujin nodded, reset her stance, threw the combination. Better. Cleaner. Good, Naya smiled. The real kind. The kind that reached her eyes. Again, but this time, imagine he's standing right here. Sujin's next punch made the mitt crack like thunder. Naya had learned young that pain was the most honest teacher. Growing up in Lagos, gentleness got you killed or married off. Her mother used to say, nah, if you can breathe, you can survive. Naya learned to breathe through hunger, through her father's fists, through the night her mother's breathing finally stopped. Boxing wasn't therapy. It was proof she was still alive. When she moved to Seoul 4 years ago for a teaching position, she promised herself softness. No more fighting, no more survival mode, just peace. Then she met Han Jae-sung, hospital waiting room, shoulder torn, eyes tired in a way money couldn't fix. He spoke like words cost extra. She liked that. Bonded over silence and weak coffee. By the time she learned he ran half the city's underworld, she was already in love. Her phone buzzed. Jae-sung's name appeared. Message. Dinner tonight? I promise not to talk about work. She typed back. You always talk about work. His reply? Fine. I promise to be interesting when I talk about work. Naya's laugh made Sujin look up. Curious. Her husband, terrifying to everyone except her. To her, he was just a man who couldn't cook. Held her too tight when he thought she was sleeping. Take 5, Nia told Sujin. Walked to the small office. Minji pretending to organize schedules. Minji looked up, expression careful. They'd known each other since Nia first opened the gym. Minji treated her like Nia, not Mrs. Han. 3 more cancellations, Minji said quietly. 12 this week. Naya's smile didn't slip. Something behind her ribs tightened. Did they say why? The usual. Too busy. Found somewhere closer. Minji hesitated. Yeah, people are talking. People always talk. Not like this. The gym door opened. A new member walked in. Tall, lean, too observant. Signed up 2 weeks ago as Daejung. Good fighter, quiet, eyes lingered too long on everything. On her. Mrs. Han, he nodded, too respectfully. She hated that name in her gym. Just Naya, she corrected like always. He smiled, apologized, moved to the heavy bags. Minji waited until he was out of earshot. I don't trust him. Neither do I, Naya admitted, But we need members. What she didn't say, she'd spent years trying to be invisible, to prove she wasn't just Jae-sung's wife. Her skills were hers alone. She built this gym with her own money, taught with her own knowledge, fought for every student who walked through that door. Now, slowly, carefully, someone was taking it apart. That night, teaching her last class, Naya noticed something else. Her regulars. They weren't just canceling, they were avoiding eye contact when they left. Like they were embarrassed or scared. By Friday, the truth was unavoidable. Naya sat in her office, staring at the membership spreadsheet. The numbers bled red like open wounds. 40% drop in 2 weeks. Classes that used to have waiting lists now had empty spaces. The evening kickboxing session she'd built from 3 students to 20, 7 people showed up. Minji knocked softly before entering, her face carrying the expression that always preceded bad news. "Just say it," Nia said. Minji closed the door, pulled out her phone, showed Naya a screenshot from a private gym community forum. Han Jae-sung's wife playing fighter. Must be nice having unlimited money and a name that opens doors. Heard she never actually competed. Just bought her reputation. Another comment. Foreign women always need a Korean man to make them somebody. Naya's hands didn't shake. Real anger ran cold, not hot. "There's more," Minji whispered. "Someone leaked your business registration. They're saying Jae-sung funded everything, that you're just playing at this." "He didn't fund it," Naya's voice was flat. "I used my savings, every one." "I know, but they don't care about truth. They care about the story. The story. Always the story. Black woman, powerful husband, must be using him, must be weak, must be pretending." Nya had heard versions of this her entire life. She drove home in silence. Learned early that feeling everything at once meant feeling nothing useful. Compartmentalized, breathed, survived. Jae-sung was already home, standing by the floor-to-ceiling windows, looking out at Seoul's skyline. He didn't turn when she entered. "How long have you known?" she asked. 3 days. He turned. Controlled fury, the kind that made men disappear. In his hand, a tablet. Surveillance photos, men outside her gym, same faces at nearby cafes, phones pointed at her students, screenshots of forum posts, all tracing back to one source. "Kwon Sok-tae," Jae-sung said. The name landed like a blade. "He wants to embarrass you to undermine me. He thinks hurting you is the same as hurting me. Is he wrong?" Jae-sung's jaw tightened. "I can end this tonight. One phone call. He'll be gone by morning." Naya walked to him, placed her hand over the tablet, lowered it gently. "No, no." Her voice was soft, absolute. "You fix this. I become exactly what they're saying I am. The woman who hides behind her husband. The woman who can't fight her own battles. This isn't about pride." "Yes, it is." She met his eyes. "It's about every woman who's been told she doesn't belong, every person made invisible by someone else's story. If you fix this, I disappear. Again." He studied her, finally nodded. "Your way, but I don't like it." "I know." Her phone buzzed. Unknown number. She opened the message. "Want to prove you're really a fighter? Underground exhibition match. This Saturday. Unless you're scared without your husband's protection." Below, an address. Warehouse. Song-Sudong. Jae-sung read over her shoulder. "It's a trap. Obviously. They'll try to humiliate you publicly. Multiple opponents. No rules. Maximum degradation." Naya stared at the message, then typed a single word. "When?" Reply, "Midnight. Come alone or don't come at all." She sent, "See you there." Jae-sung's hand found hers. "Nya." "Trust me," she said quietly, "just this once. Trust that I know what I'm doing." His thumb traced her knuckles. "I always trust you. That's not the same as not being terrified." She leaned into him, felt his heartbeat against her cheek. "Good," she whispered. "That makes 2 of us." The next 3 weeks, Naya became a ghost in her own life. She trained alone. After midnight, when the gym was empty and Seoul slept, knuckles split and healed. Split again. Ran stairs until her legs screamed. Hit the heavy bag until her shoulders burned with that fire that meant she was rebuilding muscle memory her body had tried to forget. Sometimes Jae-sung watched from the doorway, silent, never helping, never questioning, just present. One night, 2 weeks before the fight, she paused between rounds, breathing hard. "You can say it," she told him without turning. "Say what?" "That this is stupid, that I'm risking everything for pride." He was quiet. Then, "You're risking everything for yourself. That's different." She turned. He leaned against the doorframe. Pajama pants, t-shirt, nothing like the man who made city officials nervous. "My mother used to say pain is honest," Naya said. "It's the only thing that doesn't lie to you. What else? Surviving isn't the same as living." Soft. I survived Lagos. I survived being invisible. I survived being the boss's wife. But I've never just lived loudly, dangerously, as myself. Jason crossed the room, cupped her face, then live. The sabotage escalated. Spray paint on her gym window, go home. 3 clients confronted her, demanded refunds, called her a fraud. One, she taught 6 months, looked her in the eye. You should go back to being decorative. It's what you're good at. Nia smiled, the same smile she'd give men in the warehouse. Thank you for showing me who you are, she said quietly. He left confused. Fine. Understanding would come later. Minji found her cleaning spray paint, shoulders tight with controlled rage. This fight is a setup, Minji said. Quan wants you humiliated. Publicly. Completely. I know. Going anyway? Yes. Why? Naya paused, scraper in hand. If I don't, I'll spend the rest of my life wondering if I could have. I'm tired of wondering. Jaesung offered intelligence. Names? Records? Weaknesses. Naya declined. If I need information to win, then I haven't already won. That night, in bed, vulnerability cracked through. What if I lose? Jaesung tightened around her. Then you lose. But you'll lose being yourself, being loud, being dangerous, everything they said you couldn't be. Not comforting. Not meant to be. Meant to be true. She turned. You really trust me? I married you, he said simply. The most terrifying trust there is. The night before the fight, Naya couldn't sleep. This version keeps the restraint, inner strength, and slow burn tension, with silences implied in the pacing, making it read exactly like your calm but dangerous. She sat by the window, staring at her hands, calluses and scars, evidence of every time she had chosen to hit back instead of disappear. Her mother's voice came back, clear as bells. Nya, baby, the world will try to make you small. Your job is to take up space anyway. She'd spent so long learning to survive that she'd forgotten how to live dangerously. Tomorrow, she'd remember. Tomorrow, she'd show them what happens when you mistake quietness for weakness. Tomorrow, Kwan Sok-tae would learn that some women don't break. They break you back. The warehouse looked like a cathedral for violence. Naya stepped through the entrance at 11:47 p.m. The noise hit her first. Jeering, laughter, the humid press of bodies packed too tight. Makeshift lights hung from the ceiling, casting harsh yellow over the concrete floor, cleared into a rough circle. Blood stains from previous fights still glistened, dark prayers in the dim light. She recognized faces immediately. 3 former clients, arms crossed, smirking. Men from Jaesung's world, rivals, allies testing loyalty, neutrals here for entertainment. A reporter outside her gym last week, phone ready. This wasn't underground. This was broadcast. A message being sent through her body, to her husband. Ladies and gentlemen. A voice boomed. Kwan Sok-tae emerged, expensive suit, predator's smile, charisma rehearsed, mid-30s, handsome in the way dangerous men often are. Tonight we have special entertainment, he announced, gesturing to Naya. Mrs. Han Ja-sung, the boss's pampered wife, claims to be a fighter, claims her little gym makes her dangerous. Pause. Let's see if she can back up that claim without her husband's protection. The crowd erupted. Nia stood still, face neutral, counting her breaths. 4 in, 4 out. Kwan wasn't speaking to her. He was speaking through her. Your wife is weak, therefore you are weak. Your protection means nothing here. Her first opponent entered the circle. Massive, 6'4", prison tattoos, broken nose healed crooked, street fighter stance, practical, brutal, effective. The crowd chanted, Taeyang! Taeyang! The makeshift referee barely finished explaining the rules before Taeyang charged. His first punch caught her shoulder. She twisted, absorbed it wrong, felt the impact rattle down her spine. Crowd roared. He pressed forward. Heavy combinations meant to overwhelm. Nya gave ground, took 2 more hits, lip split. He fights angry. Predictable. She'd been fighting their fight. Defensive, reactive, proving she could take punishment. Time to fight her fight. Taeyang wound up for a haymaker. She saw it coming 3 seconds early. Slipped inside his guard, too close for power to matter. 3 precise shots to the floating ribs, branches snapping. He gasped, stumbled. She pivoted, hooked his lead leg, drove her elbow into his solar plexus. He hit concrete, didn't get up. The warehouse went silent. Not quiet. Silence that follows shock. Naya straightened, rolled her shoulders, tasted copper, spat blood, looked at Kwan. His smile froze, halfway between amusement and something else. Understanding crystallized in her chest, sharp as broken glass. This wasn't about proving herself to them. They didn't matter. Their opinions were smoke. This was about unmasking them, showing the crowd that cruelty comes from fear. That men like Quan build empires, assuming some people, women, foreigners, quiet ones, won't hit back. She wasn't here to join their world. She was here to break their assumptions. Naya wiped blood from her mouth, eyes never leaving Quan. Who's next? The second fighter was smarter, leaner, younger, moved like water, trained martial artist, maybe military, entered the circle with respect in his eyes, bowed slightly, then attacked with combinations that sang. Naya blocked the first three strikes, the fourth caught her temple. Stars exploded across her vision. She staggered back, the crowd found their voice again, louder, vicious. Put her down. Show the bitch her place. The words hit harder than fists. Always did. He pressed advantage, lightning fast kicks to her legs, ribs, anywhere to slow her. One caught her side. Pain bloomed white hot, stealing her breath. Every time you speak up, you're aggressive. Every time you succeed, you had help. Every time you exist, you're too much and not enough. Voices weren't just from the crowd. Every voice she'd internalized. Every moment she'd made herself smaller to fit spaces never meant for her. She caught the next kick, twisted, threw him off balance, landed a combination to his body. He grunted, recovered fast, swept her legs. Now hit the concrete, ribs screamed. Through the crowd, she saw Minho, one of Jae-sung's men, watching from the shadows. Their eyes met. He stepped forward, protective instinct overriding orders. She shook her head once. Firm, this is mine. Minho stayed back, jaw tight. The fighter helped her up, a gesture of respect, then tried to knee her in the face. Nia turned it into a clinch, drove short uppercuts into his liver, threw him down. He stayed down, two down. She stood, breathing hard, blood from split lip, ribs loose, wrong, every breath a negotiation with pain. The crowd's noise had changed, less mockery, more hunger. The third fighter entered, Kwan's personal enforcer, silent, professional, dead eyes, seen and done things that killed empathy. Smaller but efficient, he didn't bow, didn't acknowledge her, just attacked. First combination surgical, 1-2 to face, low kick to damaged ribs. Spinning back fist to her ear, Naya's world tilted. She tried to counter, already gone, circling, patient, kicked her planted leg, buckled. Another combination harder, faster. Block 2, 8-3, tasted blood, ribs grinding wrong. Maybe I can't do this. Thought arrived like treason. Flashback, mother's hospital room, Naya, 17, slight, holding her mother's hand as she died. Baby, don't let them make you small. Her mother had got small, quiet, dead. Na had spent years believing love meant suffering. Gentleness was weakness. Surviving meant accepting whatever space they gave her. Enforcer's kick caught her stomach. Naya dropped to her knees, vision swimming, lungs screaming, crowd chanting, "Finish her! Finish her!" Through blurred vision, she saw Quan lean forward. Smile wide, satisfied. Yield, he called, voice carrying across warehouse. Yield now, and I'll let you leave with dignity. Keep fighting, and I'll make sure everyone sees how weak you really are. Naya pressed hands to cold concrete, blood dripping from her mouth. Her body was breaking. Her mind was remembering. On her knees, blood pooling beneath her palms, Nia heard her mother's voice, not the dying version, the fierce one, the woman who'd raised her in Lagos streets where weakness was currency you couldn't afford. Nia, baby, surviving isn't enough. That's what scared people do. Live loud, live dangerous, live like you mean it. Nia had spent years surviving, being small, being quiet, being acceptable. She'd been fighting to prove she deserved to exist in their world, but she didn't need their world. They needed people like her to stay silent, to accept, to disappear when things got uncomfortable. That realization landed like electricity. The enforcer circled, confident, ready to finish her. Naya's breathing shifted, not the controlled 4-count of boxing discipline. Something older, rawer. The breathing of a girl who'd fought for food, fought off men twice her size, fought her way onto a plane that took her far from home, but never far enough from herself. She rose, not gracefully, not like a trained fighter resetting. She rose like something breaking through concrete. The enforcer saw it, hesitated, then charged. Muscle memory overriding instinct. Naya didn't retreat. She moved forward, met him in the space between, where technique dissolved into pure will. She slipped his jab, ate his cross on her shoulder, drove her forehead into his nose. Crunch. You wanted to see me fight? Her voice was rough, blood thick, clear. Here I am. She wasn't boxing anymore. This was Lagos street fighting merged with years of discipline. Efficient, brutal, relentless. Elbows to the temple, knees to the ribs, a throat strike that made him gag. He tried to clinch. She broke it, spun him, kicked the back of his knee, drove her fist into his kidney. He went down like a building collapsing and stayed down. The warehouse was quiet, not shock, fear. Naya stood over him, chest heaving, blood streaming from nose and mouth, ribs screaming, eyes clear, focused. She turned to Quan. He stood, expensive suit suddenly looking like costume jewelry. Face darkened, rage, and beneath it, fear. Is that all you brought? Naya's voice carried. For a moment, no one moved. Then a fourth figure stepped in. Daejung, the spy from her gym, the man who had watched her, reported on her, fed information to Quan for weeks. Hello, Mrs. Han, he said, respect gone. Or Nia, since we're being honest now. Something flared, hot, personal. This one had smiled while stabbing her in the back. This one's personal, she said quietly. Daejung smiled. You never belonged here anyway. Foreign woman playing at being Korean, playing at being tough, playing at... Nia hit him before he finished. Not wild, not angry, precise, not energy. She had none left, but clarity, purpose, understanding. Some people only learn through pain. Daejung was faster, better trained, landed shots that would have dropped her an hour ago. Nia had stopped feeling pain 3 fights ago. She walked through his combinations like rain. Inevitable, unstoppable. Her counter was surgical. Body shots folded him. Uppercut snapped his head back. Straight right hand carried weeks of frustration, humiliation, suppressed rage. Daejung hit concrete, didn't move. 4 men down. Nia stood, center of the circle, bloodied, damaged, unbroken. The crowd silent as graves. She turned to Quan. He tried composure, failed. Allies shifted, calculating. You're right, she said, sliding her platinum wedding ring back onto her finger. It's not over. It's finished. There's a difference. Stepped toward him. He stepped back. You wanted to prove I was weak, that I was nothing without my husband, that foreign women don't belong in your world. But here's what you proved. Your worldview depends on people like me staying quiet. She stopped, smiled, terrible, controlled. This is the last time anyone mistakes my choice for weakness. Kwan's allies offered nothing. You think you've won, he said. I know I have, Nia said, because tomorrow, everyone here will remember the night Han Jae-sung's wife fought 4 men, and you'll remember you brought her here. You created this. The warehouse emptied. Nia and Jae-sung remained, alone. Can you walk? He asked. I can run if I have to. Not what I asked. She leaned into him. No, but I will anyway. Dawn came soft. Nia at the kitchen sink. Hands in warm water turning pink with blood. Reflection in the window. Swollen eye. Split lip. Bruises blooming purple. Never looked more like herself. Jae-sung cleaned the cut above her eyebrow. Gentle. Quiet. I was ready to burn everything for you, he said. I know. They needed to see me. Not your shadow. He traced the bruises. The hardest thing was trusting you to face that alone. I wasn't fighting for respect. I was fighting to prove I could live fully, not just safely. I spent so long surviving, I forgot how to live dangerously. He kissed her temple, careful. And now? Now I remember. 1 week later, the gym was packed. Word had spread. Kwan's organization crumbled. Allies scattered. Now Corey fights her own battles and wins. A young black girl watched her, wide-eyed. Want to learn? Nia asked. Yes. First lesson, Nia said, wrapping hands. Your power doesn't come from anger. It comes from knowing exactly who you are, refusing to apologize for it. The girl jabbed, tentative, then stronger. By the 10th, smiling. That evening, walking home, Jae-sung held her hand. Do you regret marrying violence? He asked. No, but violence regrets meeting me. Her mother's voice came back one last time. Live loud, baby. Live dangerous. Live like you mean it. Nia had learned survival in Lagos streets, strength in Seoul gyms, now grace, knowing power, choosing when to use it. People feared Han Jae-sung because he didn't shout. Now they feared them both. Not for threats, not for posturing, but because when Nia Okori smiled and said, "You messed with the wrong one," it was already too late, and everyone knew it.